Hello there. The London Mayor Sadiq Khan has now signed up every Londoner to a low-meat 2,500 calorie per day diet. I'm still a bit croaky, but I just had to make this video. And some misguided fools still point at Brexit and Brexiteers and blame everything on them. But right now we have a building in-house tyranny that threatens us all, emanating from that very pro-EU and anti-Brexit Labour Party Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, because he has plans for Londoners. Not only does he want to track the movement of every vehicle, make sure they're compliant and charge them for every mile, electric vehicle or not, he also now wants to dictate what Londoners eat. And this will in very short order extend out into the rest of the country. You better believe it. So what's this new plan for what the London proletariat will be eating? Well, in the run-up to 2030, which is now just over 6 years away, London will implement, I repeat, will implement the following measures taken from the C40 Cities Good Food Cities Accelerator. Aligning our food procurement to the planetary health diet, ideally sourced from organic agriculture. Have you heard of the planetary health diet? Have you ever voted for it in any election or referendum to have it imposed on the whole of London? Then there's supporting an overall increase of healthy plant-based food consumption in our cities by shifting away from unsustainable, unhealthy diets. The nanny state on steroids. Did you vote for that? Do you want that? Have you ever debated it? And who is going to tell you what an unsustainable and unhealthy diet is? The experts in City Hall, or those in the UN, the WHO, C40 Cities and the World Economic Forum? Yes, that's exactly who. All of the above. Not you through the ballot box, not you through choice as a sovereign human being. No, it will be dictated to you, and you will comply. After all, the experts have spoken, and all you have to do is obey and be happy. There's another thread to this too. Reducing food loss and waste by 50% from a 2015 baseline. Sounds very laudable, but the way I think this will be achieved is by making food more scarce and therefore more expensive. People will obviously then buy less and eat it all up. Enjoy your gruel, dear viewer. But it's not just London. No, here's the full list of the 16 early adopter cities from whence it will march out across the world. Barcelona, Copenhagen, Guadalajara, Lima, London, Los Angeles, Milan, Montreal, New York City, Oslo, Paris, Quezon City, Seoul, Stockholm, Tokyo, Toronto. I wonder how many of their residents are actually aware of this. If you live in one of those cities, did you know this was coming? Were you party to an extensive public consultation about this? Now, this new diet is the brainchild of the EAT-Lancet Commission. That has one goal, 2 targets and 5 strategies to get what it wants. The goal is to achieve planetary health diets for nearly 10 billion people by 2050. Even though the Commission itself says that there is still no global consensus on what constitutes healthy diets and sustainable food production. But it wants to drive the agenda and tell us what that diet would look like. And that diet is 50% less red meat and more fruit, vegetables and pulses, by diktat, not by market forces or by choice.
Well, it's a good job I'm not living in London, isn't it? I mean, I'm not going to be told that I cannot eat meat or cut down my meat by somebody who looks like a cat.
And this new diet will be imposed on us by following two strategies. First, to develop the single healthy diet that should optimise health, defined broadly as being a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. A lot of people get their well-being from substances other than food. Will those be included? Or will the likes of tobacco and alcohol, as well as other substances, be eradicated from use? Will this include pushing on us the use of Frankenstein factory-made gunk-based foods full of indeterminate ingredients designed to make you feel better and more fulfilled? And the Commission report from eatforum.org shows a lot of plates of very colourful foods to make their point, none of which appeal to me, nor many people I know. Give me a sirloin steak any day of the week. But do we get a choice about this? No, we don't. It will be dictated to us. Then we get to Target 2, sustainable food production, which is all because achieving a sustainable food system that can deliver healthy diets for a growing population presents formidable challenges. Except that, within the next couple of decades, the global fertility rate is going to move into decline, and by the end of the century, the global population is predicted to start falling. That's right, the United Nations has produced projections to this effect. But most people still seem to think that the world's population is spiralling out of control. It isn't. But many vested interests want you to believe it is. But as ever, the elites do hide the truth in plain sight while trying to mislead you. This from the UN World Population Prospects 2022 key messages. The world's population continues to grow, but the pace of growth is slowing down. Then there's in 2021, the average fertility of the world's population stood at 2.3 births per woman over a lifetime, having fallen from about 5 births per woman in 1950. Global fertility is projected to decline further to 2.1 births per woman by 2050. Taking net migration, increased life expectancy, and events like war or pandemics out of the equation, for a developed nation to maintain their population numbers, every woman would need to have an average of 2.11 births, the extra 0.11 to account for child mortality. So taking the UN projections, by 2050 any global population increase will be driven by how much longer we can keep people alive, not by the birth rate. And if the global fertility rate drops further, which is on the cards by the way, the global population will start falling. But this will be mainly driven by really low fertility rates in the developed world, while the population growth in sub-Saharan Africa, for example, will continue to rise markedly, even though their fertility rate will also be dropping, albeit from a large high. Something that might go a long way to explaining our current non-control of borders. Anyway, the reason I point this out is that if the global population is set to start declining in number, then the pressure is taken off of the need for this focus on sustainable food production, unless it is there for other purposes, such as, a control of the masses function. If you control the means of production and the laws that cover its production, then you control what and when and if the masses eat. Now that's control. Then make water consumption as controlled as food for the exact same reasons. even though the population growth is levelling off and could well start falling within the next 60 to 80 years. Seems to me like certain bodies and vested interests want control well before the rest of us realise that we don't and won't actually need it. Now the big question is, what is actually reducing our fertility rates? Mother Earth? Human reactions to development such as birth control? Or something far more sinister?